Hey, welcome to the I Am Podcast, where we answer all the questions about spirituality and inner peace that you ever wanted to ask, and where we learn the secrets of humanity and divinity through a better understanding of both. I'm your host, Sean Webb. Okay, so this week I wanted to talk to you about the illusion of failure. And you might say, well, how could failure be an illusion? Here's how. The mind's perception of self, aka ego, sense of self, whatever you want to call it, the mind's invention of this definition of you within your head has this valuation system attached to it. And so when it perceives that you do something and fail at it, that valuation can be reduced in your mind a little bit. And past failures that your mind hangs on to can reduce your valuation. Potential devaluations in your mind from future failures is what fear of failure is, and it can keep you from doing things and not living a fulfilled life and not living energetically and without reservation. Well, this devaluation thing of this egoic existence up here is what failure is perceived as in the human mind. And a lot of us, we have problems in getting by this whole egoic existence, this mindful definition of self. And that's because of something that is kind of ingrown, pre-wired in our biology. That's a evolutionary development in humans that creates things that help us, prolong our life. Fear, for instance, is where the limbic system scans the whole environment for potential dangers to self. And so that definition of self in our mind gets referenced a lot when the brain is trying to access whether we're in danger, and thus helping us react to potential dangers and prolonging our life. So we have to have this definition of self in our head, but the problem is we get wrapped up in this whole definition of self in our head, and the valuations shifts up and down and that type of thing create opportunities for fear and failure, fear of failure, judgments of how well we've done in life, yada, yada, yada. Well, the issue with that is that this whole mindful definition of self is an illusion. There's a spiritual existence that exists below that you can experience firsthand, and then that basically shifts this whole thing off of its axis and throws a whole new knowledge into your mind paradigm. And so this gets shifted into a more spiritual space, and you don't necessarily rely on your definition of self as you did previously. If you can get beyond the me, get into the I, get into the God space, get into the spiritual realm, and have that permeate your entire existence. Well, fear of failure and failure itself is based in this mindful definition of self up here. And it doesn't take into account the spiritual existence that is one with all and is perfect and is eternal, etc. And so when you're talking about failure, you're talking about adjusting the valuation up here of an illusion of self that doesn't take into the full picture of your existence as a human. I mean, we're wrapped into this body, we have a mind, but there's a spiritual component as well that you can't experience. And if you're not experiencing that, if you're not meditating, if you're not getting down away from this me thing into the spiritual existence that exists, that's beyond the body and the mind, you don't get to step away from that illusion. And so it's not illusion to you, it's real to you. And so you have these perceived failures, these perceived fears, these perceived downfalls, these valuation shifts, and you can't get away from that. But the reality of the world, of the existence, is that you don't have to be looking through those mud-smeared glasses. And you don't have to be living in that model of valuation increases and decreases, because this is an illusion. And there is a deeper truth and a more profound truth and a more spiritual truth that when you get into that, you can see the illusions of this. And you can see that the valuation increases and decreases are insignificant in comparison to the whole picture. And so it's at that point that you can see failure is an illusion. And so the key is, if you can get into that spiritual space, you start to live from a position that failure doesn't exist. And you start to live from the source of fearlessness and not having the capability of failing, because there is no failure. And so how much more fulfilling and fearless does your life become if you can live without the possibility of failure? Something to ponder. Anyway, don't forget to stop by Audible. They're putting out some really good Audible books. And you can get one for free by trying out their free 30-day risk-free trial at audibletrial.com/IamSpirituality. And you can get a free audiobook. Check them out. You can listen to it at the gym. You can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it while you're doing your yard work or while you're mowing the lawn like I do. And it's an awesome place. I've been their member for over 4 years, and I get 2 books a month, and they cost about $11 a book. And I have the author read it to me himself, which is friggin' awesome. So check that out. Hope things are well with you this week. If you'd like to send some emails or drop in and leave a note or say hey on Facebook, please do so. Hope things are well. Talk to you soon. Peace.